New Year's, all I did was stretch. Valentine's Day, I had sex. We'll see what's about to happen next. This ain't no regular shit. We never begging for shit. Niggas is ready to quit. Shit that they hate to admit. In Texas, I keep a rifle inside of the whip, call it driving a stick. In Vegas, I get $2 million a night from the wind just to run through the hits. All that on top of the chips.
So, anything happened tonight?
I don't know. I know Phoenix and Dallas are playing right now.
Yeah,
Boston,
are they? I totally forgot about that. Oh, dude, that's crazy. Boston, game 6. They're going to game 7. That's great.
Yes, they are. Wild time to be a sports fan, huh?
Just got a text from Jason. Just want to put it out there. What's up, Jason? Yeah, they lost. So, opening thoughts, anything, just right off the dome. Fire them away. I'm ready.
The Heat are good.
Anything. Yeah,
the Heat are good.
We gave. Yep.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler is really good, and
yeah, he is.
We've seen it. We saw it when he was here. But Jimmy Butler is a really good basketball player, and
yeah, he deserves a lot of credit.
This is the night, Joel's face comes to haunt him, basically. You know what I mean? He was on the floor so many times. You thought he got injured at one point because they were going to commercial break and they're like, well, Joel just hit the deck again. He's back on the floor. I don't know. Yeah. The Danny Green thing sucked. Obviously, that honestly might end his career.
But I heard
his career might be over. His career might be
really
over, honestly.
It was that bad.
Yeah, I mean, if he tears his ACL, he's so old at this point. He might not play. He might not step onto an NBA court again. So,
is this contract up? Because I hope it is.
I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure.
It should be. It should be. But
tough.
No, I mean, I want to ask you a question that my good friend Will Mackley just asked me. This is a big one. So he said he thinks Embiid will request a trade.
I don't know. I think he's doing a really good job trying to bring in new talent.
He is.
And make relationships in this city. You never know with the NBA these days. We could see any person on earth call for a trade at this point in sports, not just the NBA. Players are forcing their ways out of teams and organizations for any type of reason. Yeah. So, in my opinion, I don't think Joel will leave. Or will ask, or will at least ask for a trade because, we saw what happened with Simmons and he saw what happened with Simmons getting just ixnayed out of the city.
It's a different situation, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
Very. But he won't go down as much as a legend as he would if he requested a trade. Now, if he just got traded, though, if he tried to keep it under wraps,
I don't think they would trade him.
I know. But I'm saying if he just got traded without requesting a trade, it would be way different than if he requested a trade.
I don't think he would do that because he said multiple times that he wants to win championships and retire in this city. I also think he could get to a point like Dame where it's they're like, yo, request a trade. We'll send you the Lakers, whatever. He's like, no, I want to win here. So I don't think that would happen. But let me ask you this. What are the immediate next steps that the Sixers should take? I mean, I think number one should be Doc Rivers being fired.
Agreed.
I know that it's not as obvious as I think Brett Brown was, but I still think it's necessary. But what do you think the next steps of the Sixers should be?
Yeah, first of all, I think Doc leaving has to happen. I don't blame everything on him. We were in contention for the number 1 seed for almost the entire year. But that
was a big leap from the season before, by the way.
Big leap. And we saw his downfalls a lot throughout the year, especially towards the end of the year and in the playoffs. And it happened in Toronto too. We saw some bad substitutions.
We should have lost that series.
We should have, but we saw some bad plays getting drawn up. So. I don't know. I think secondly, I think you have to build depth. I think watching that on TV now, honestly, watching the league evolve into this depth heavy league is insane. Looking at teams like Boston, Milwaukee, Phoenix, maybe even Dallas, Miami, of course.
Look at who played well for them tonight. Jimmy Butler, great. Max Strus, PJ Tucker, Tyler Hero, Gabe Vincent. Who is Gabe Vincent? Dude, I've never heard of this guy. And the Sixers' only options for scoring were apparently tonight Shake Milton. Good on him for having the most like unmeaningful game or like of all time, and it doesn't even matter. So, and then it's like Embiid, Harden, and Maxey. Harden played like crap. It's obvious. He only took 2 shots in the second half after he was like only 4 for 7 in the first. It's crazy how we traded him for Ben Simmons, who wouldn't shoot. We're trading for a guy like Harden because he would, and he didn't. It's really disappointing.
Well, look,
but
here's
like,
the other.
Past that, you're right. Bench. Like we needed like Jordan Clarkson will be great. Like any guy who can come in and contribute and take over, not like Furkan Korkmaz and
I know
Georges Niang.
No, but do you know exactly who we need? We need Seth Curry. We need Seth Curry tonight. We needed him. I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. Thibault has his ups and downs. Like I understand that, but we needed a Seth Curry tonight, a guy you could just give the ball.
Detriment. Thibault is a detriment to the team when he's on the court offensively. And let's all be honest, he has not been that good defensively this year. He's been good because that's his only thing. But like last year, he was locking people up. He was second team all defense. And I would be very interested to see what his minutes per game was because I bet it's less than 15. Like
he
was so good last year.
He averaged 1.1 blocks and 1.7 steals this year. And in the postseason, he was 0.8 blocks, 0.6 steals.
Yeah, that's a difference. But like his offense was fine during the regular season, and it just tanked in the playoffs, just like everybody. I love Maxey. He had some really good games. But, like, when they needed him to make shots, let's not look at his stats because the stats are fine. When they needed him to make shots, needed him to take over because Harden wasn't, and he didn't. And I don't think that's his fault. He's young. He hasn't played any kind of situation like this. Last year, he didn't get nearly as many minutes. And, like, it's just disappointing. It's really disappointing that Embiid is so hurt because at least it's an excuse because going back to the question before, if Embiid doesn't get hurt, that's a different story. I think that maybe there is a little bit room. Like he totally could be like, F that. I gave my heart to that. So it's easy to be like, he fractured his face. His face was so broken, by the way. The most broken face of all time. And his thumb was like destroyed. And I bet everything else is hurting too. Like those are just the major ones. Yeah. So,
but that's what happens when you're 7'1". You know what I mean? Like, that's what happens when you're 250 pounds plus. Playing at. 280, at least 280. But you know, Ethan, you brought me up a good question. I want to bring you up a question before we end this. Will the process ever end? I was just thinking about this, but no, I'm dead serious. It's kind of corny, but like
I got a text like that from one of my friends like 10 minutes ago. So yeah.
Will
it's a good question.
First of all, what is the completion of the process?
Is it over? That's a really good question. I mean,
what is the process leading to? Is it NBA Finals or is it a conference championship appearance?
I mean, that's a big difference because I think the process was built purely on the draft and building a team. I don't think the process was ever meant to be like dynasty championships wise, and it should have been, but it wasn't because Hanky left so long ago, and he was the epitome of the process. So I think the process was just up until maybe last year, maybe the year before. I don't know, but like getting a guy like Embiid, who's an MVP caliber guy, who can win you a championship, that has to be understated. Like it's being understated. I'm saying like he can win us a championship as the number one option. That I think that's obvious. It's just they haven't put the talent around him, and they tried. They have tried their hearts out. Harden was the exact type of player, and it was the right trade to make. It was. At the time, I will defend it till we die. It was the right trade to make at the time. Totally it didn't work out. Like, honestly, like when they traded him, I was like, we're going to win the championship this year. Like, no one's going to stop us. But, like, you know, 2 months into the Harden experiment, it was pretty obvious that, like, you know, he's just not that guy anymore. And that's okay, I guess. Yeah. But I don't know what to do with him. What do we do with him? Like, he has to opt into his player option, I think, because they're not going to give him that much, like a supermax, or at least they shouldn't, I think. They shouldn't give him like $250 million or whatever the crazy number it is. Like, I don't know what to do with him. I hope he opts in. Davis, I have one more question for you. Bradley Beal. I hate to do this, but like, it's a possibility. It was put out there. I know Andrew Bogut is not the most credible source in the world, but it is out there.
Also, you know what? That trade, I would much rather spend $20 million this offseason getting 3 deep bench guys.
Totally. That's what trading away, Tobias, by the way.
Then trading away Maxey. Then trading away to Maxey Tobias, Thibault, and a bunch of firsts.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree. Totally.
I would
think
much rather
Tobias
spend
has
our
to go.
time and energy in the free agent market trying to bring in some guys. And I
They
don't
never
know
do
exactly.
that. They need to. You're right. You're right. They need to do something in free agency. They never do. The last couple of years, like our most important free agency signings were JJ Redick is like the only one I can think of. Like, like I don't really know. I think they have to trade Tobias. Like, I love Tobias. He's a good player. But
if someone wants to take Tobias, I don't know who will take him. Seriously.
He only has another year on his contract, so that's why I'm saying that. Like, it's a lot of money, but it's only one more year. So like a team like not this one, ideally, but the Thunder or someone who could take on salary for a year and give us, like you're saying, 2 or 3 good bench players. Like, trade him to the Kings. Get fucking sorry for the language, but like Buddy Hield. I know that, or no, he's on the fucking Pacers now. Never mind.
He's on the Pacers, but I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
The other thing I'm saying is like, no one's gonna take Tobias's contract. Like, we're gonna have to give up more than what we're getting.
Yep, we would. We'd probably have to give up Thibault too.
Probably, yeah.
And I would be okay with that. I would be okay with that. Like,
I don't know.
Unless Thibault comes back as like some crazy 3-point shooter, it's never gonna happen.
Here's my thing, though. Like, Thibault's a good bench guy when you need the defense. He's not a guy. I'm fine with him getting 10, 12 minutes a game. I'm totally fine with it. But you have to have the pieces around the starting lineup and on the bench to suffice for his horrific offense.
Yep. I mean, you're right. You're right. And, like, he's been good. He's been a good third, fourth option, whatever you want to call it. But let's not forget how much money we gave him when, like, it was very apparent this series of all series, which is so ironic, that Jimmy Butler, the guy that we could have kept, destroyed us and took away our season. Like, he ended it. It was him. He was fantastic this series. Fantastic. I think we talked about this pre-show for a second, but, like, I'm happy for him. He deserves credit because I think everyone thought he was a bum, and he was always the problem, whatever you want to call it. So good for him, but
100% agreed. I'm a Jimmy guy.
Yeah. Let's end it right here. One more question. Let's each do this, but what is your strongest and hottest take for this offseason for the Sixers? It can be like possible or not possible. Anything that you can think of.
I mean, I hate to say it, and the first thing I want to say is they tear it down. Like, wow. It's either they tear it down or run it back. It's either they tear it down or run it back. And
just by tear it down, do you mean keeping Embiid or not?
Yes, yeah. Okay. When I mean tear it down, I just mean retool.
Yeah.
You know, Harden. Hopefully,
what you're doing what the Cavs did and what the Thunder have done. Like,
agreed. Like,
the Thunder, I think 2 years ago should have been where they are now, and they made the playoffs.
Yep. Yeah, I'd say my number one hot take is that James Harden will not pay. This is the last game James Harden will ever play for the Philadelphia 76ers. That's my hot take.
That too. Yeah.
And I kind of said 2 there, so you can have that one. But there's a good chance. Right. You never know. You never know with that guy.
No, I think you're right.
He
didn't show up. Like, if you bring him in, you got to get a Beal like Beal. You got to get a guy like Beal who can score, and Harden can only be a facilitator. Like that 31 piece he had 2 games ago, he put his heart and soul into that game, and he was gone the last 2.
Yep, agreed.
Like, disappointing. My hottest take, since you gave a pretty reasonable one, I'll give a really unreasonable one. Maxi's not on the team next year.
I'm just saying. So we're trading away a young piece to get something better.
And here's what
did you say?
Sort of. Here's a really hot take that is even more unreasonable than the last one. We trade Maxey along with other people for Damian Lillard.
And keep Harden.
I don't know, do we? I mean, I don't know if the Trailblazers.
What about Maxey Harris, and Thibault for Dame? And like Robert Covington.
First. Covington's on the Clippers.
Oh yeah, that's right. But a guy,
I think
a guy
so.
like that.
Yeah, like why wouldn't? Like, I think now you got to be like last couple seasons especially with Ben, you could be like a little bit like, all right, like we can't go too deep, we can't be too aggressive. I think this season, like, I would like to keep Maxey. I think that was just a hot take. Like, I think ideally what they should do is Embiid, Maxey, everyone else. Like they should be the only two untouchables.
100%.
And Jaden Springer, the kid's a beast.
Shut up. I hope now that you say that, I hope hot take, Jaden Springer will not be on the Philadelphia 76ers next year.
Hotter take. I think he'll be really good next
year. We'll see, I guess, but tough way to end the season.
Like, one more take is I think it's really disappointing now I'm thinking about that Morey didn't follow up Maxey with another strong rookie instead of getting like the Zaire Smith development guy. So
yeah.
I hope it works out. Anything else? This is so disappointing. I mean, it's not that I didn't see it coming. It's just still disappointing.
The rest of the NBA playoffs are going to be awesome, I think. And I think I'm
going to watch
a little out of touch. I felt a little out of touch with the rest of the games, just thinking about the Sixers so much. But I have the Dallas Phoenix game on right now. Dallas is up by it looks like a fantastic game.
Dallas is up.
I think Dallas is up by 1 towards the end of the first quarter. So nice. I think it's going to be an awesome series. I think NHL is going to be an awesome playoff run for any of those teams. We saw Boston.
Yeah, I'm starting to like the NHL. Yep.
And then I don't know about a lot of, with you or anything, but I feel like this is when baseball gets into the swing of things for me. Like I was literally going to watch the Phillies game after this. Yep.
Phillies starting 8 minutes. I'm going to watch it.
8 minutes. Yep. So it's tough way to end it, but love to hopefully get there next year. Let's not see a game 6 next year in the second round.
Hopefully make it to the second round next year. Like let's at least give us a pound on the backs. Another second round exit.
June and July are going to be big. June and July are going to be big for the Sixers. Yeah. Huge.
It's going to be crazy because the Eagles did some crazy shit. The Sixers are definitely going to do some crazy shit, especially with Daryl Morey as our GM. You have to expect it. You have to.
Agreed.
All right, guys. I think that's it. But we do have an Eagles video coming out tomorrow, maybe the day after. Not sure yet, but that will be coming out talking about the draft, off-season stuff. Obviously, AJ Brown. The schedule dropped tonight. Maybe we'll do another video about that. But make sure to keep following, subbing, liking, all that stuff. Go on our Instagram, go on our Twitter. DM us with names for new possible podcast. Just saying, not a new podcast name. Sorry.
We'll see.
I'm just going to call my shot. That's all I'm going to do. So
I like it.
Anyway, guys, have a good night. This sucks.
Sad.
Play the intro, the outro. Let's get out of here. This sucks.